and welcoming Kristi. Hi everybody, I'm Kristi, and like Maggie said, she asked me to come and talk to you about God and bullying. If any of you are not Christian, I hope that you can take what I say and relate it to your faith, or if you don't have a faith, that it would still be something relevant and helpful to you. And when I'm done, if any of you have any questions for me, please come talk to me, or get my information from Maggie, or I can share it. Okay, so I'm going to start by telling you a story, and then we'll kind of chat about it when I'm done, okay? So, once upon a time, in a land far, far away, it's a long time ago in Persia. A long time ago, they didn't have cars, they didn't have phones, cell phones, makeup, jewelry. They probably didn't have many cool things to do their hair with. I'm thinking cloth ties, maybe, no rubber bands. Clothing was very simple. If you can kind of imagine this time, there were no roads, there were paths, like dirt paths, not gravel, just dirt paths. And you pretty much would only know the people in your village unless you walked to another village. There wasn't a lot of ability to communicate far away. So if you can kind of put yourself in that position, we're in Persia a long time ago. And in Persia there was a king, and his name was Xerxes. And he was a generous king. And at the start of this story, he was feeling like celebrating, so he was throwing a big party. He invited everybody to come to the party. Now, it was a while ago, so all the men got to do the outside party, and all the women were inside with his wife, Queen Vashti. Okay? Vashti, I know, isn't that beautiful? And she was a beautiful queen. So he had all of the best for this party. He had literally couches made of gold and silver out in the courtyard. He had blue and white linen curtains hanging in the courtyard. He had all the food that you could eat, all the beverages that you wanted to drink, and there were no limits on anybody. Everybody could have whatever they wanted. And they were having a great time. And this party lasted 6 months. So toward the end of this party, he decided he wanted to show off his beautiful wife, Queen Vashti. So he sent his servants in to go get her and say, hey, he wants you to come out in your beautiful robes and your crown so that he can introduce you. And she's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to go out. So they went back and told him, and he was very upset. So he had a lot of advisors. So he asked his advisors, what do I do? My wife refused to come out. This makes me look really bad. What do I do? And they said, you can't tolerate this. If you let her get away with this, all of the men in the village will have wives that don't listen to them. And they won't come when they tell them to come. And they're not going to cook them dinner when it's time for dinner. And you're going to look like a fool. You can't do this. So they advised him to banish Queen Vashti, and he decided to do that. Different time. Right? So Queen Vashti is gone in exile or something like that. So meanwhile, there's, I think it was like 6 months later, his advisor said, hey, it's time to find a new queen. So they put out a search for lovely available ladies in the land to come audition for queen. So in a small village, there was a man named Mordecai, and he was Jewish, and he was taking care of his niece, Esther. And her parents had passed, so he had taken care of her whole life, and so he was like her father, and he encouraged her to go try out for queen. And he said, but Esther, don't tell them that you're Jewish. And she said, okay, and she trusted him, and so she took his advice, and she never told anybody that she was Jewish. So the process for the audition, if you will, to become queen takes like a year. So she spent a year being prepared to be presented to the king. And the way it worked is once the king found his woman, or his queen, he would call her by name. And so as soon as Esther came out, and she was so lovely and kind, and he saw her and he said, "This is my queen." It was love at first sight. So he asked her to marry him. So now Esther is the queen, wife of King Xerxes in Persia. So Mordecai, her uncle, ended up getting a job in the palace, and there was also a man named Haman, who was one of the top advisors for the king. And Haman had a lot of power, and he really had high self-esteem. And he decided that everybody needed to bow down to him to show their respect for him. So he made this the rule, and Mordecai was like, "Not me. I only bow down for the Lord. I can't bow down for you." So Haman's really, really ticked off at this point. And he's trying to get revenge on Mordecai. And I think I have to backtrack because I think I got something out of order. Before that happened, there were two servants of the king who were plotting to kill him. And Mordecai overheard this, and he told the king, and there was not a trial, but they looked into it and found that it was true. So Mordecai did save the king. And this did happen before Haman asked him to bow down for him. So now we're back to Haman's really mad at Mordecai and wants him gone. And he's like, "Wait a minute, this guy's a Jew. I don't like Jews. I think they should all be exterminated." Yeah. Gotten rid of. So he convinces the king to sign he actually tricked the king into signing a decree that they would battle the Jews. And they set a day that it was going to happen. So Mordecai is in mourning, and he wears what's called sackcloth and covers himself in ashes, and he's wailing, is what the Bible says. He's wailing through the streets, moaning. All the Jews around do the same thing. They're mourning for themselves because the king has signed this decree saying that the armies can come fight them. And Esther has no idea what's going on. And so Mordecai gets a message to Esther and says, "Your king is going to kill all of our people. You have to help us." And Esther thought, "Oh, wow." He said, "You need to go talk to the king." And she's thinking, "I can't actually request to talk to the king. The only thing I can do is go out in the courtyard and stand there and look at him. And if he raises his scepter, that means that I'm okay and I can come in. But if he doesn't, then the punishment is death." This sounds really scary. This sounds like a lot of pressure. I think I'm going to pray about this. So she did, and she sent a message to Mordecai, and she said, "I want you to go back to our people and tell them to fast for 3 days and 3 nights and pray for 3 days and 3 nights for me. I will fast as well, and then I am going to go out into the courtyard and I'm going to risk my life for our people. I'm not going to let this happen." So as you can imagine, she was really, really scared. She had to be really, really, really brave. So she walked into the courtyard in her most lovely robes and her crown, and she looked into the throne room, and King Xerxes raised his scepter. So she was granted permission to come in, and she went in before the king, and he said, "Esther, my beautiful Esther, I love you so much. You mean everything to me. Ask me for whatever you want, and I will give it to you, even if it's half of my kingdom. And she said, Xerxes, I would like to invite you and Haman to a banquet tonight. And he said, okay. And Haman's thinking, awesome. So they come to the banquet that night. Now Haman is really excited because, he really thinks that he's something awesome. Like he's got this high position in the country. He's got a lot of sons. And now the queen has requested him to have dinner with her. So he's feeling really good. He's going around and bragging to everybody about how awesome this is. So they go to dinner, and the king says, Esther, my beautiful Esther, I love you so much. What can I give you? I'll give you anything you want, even if it's half of my country. And she says, King Xerxes, honey, I'd like to have dinner with you and Haman again tomorrow night, and then I'll tell you what I want. And he said, anything you want, my love, we'll have dinner again tomorrow. So that night, Haman goes home, and he's boasting to his family and to all of his friends about how the queen has invited him to dinner again. He also happened to pass Mordecai on his way home, so he was really kind of feeling grumpy about Mordecai. So his family and friends say, you can't let this Mordecai talk to you like that. You should build a gallows, 75 feet tall. Do you guys know what a gallows is? Of course you do.
A gallows is what people used to hang people back then.
It was a different time. So they said you should build this gallows 75 feet tall in the front yard so you can hang Mordecai from there, and everyone will know that the Jews can't treat us this way. So he got all excited, and he did, and he's feeling all awesome. And he goes to work the next morning, and King Xerxes was having dreams that night that were keeping him awake. He could not sleep. And he thought, there was this guy who saved my life a while back, and I never really properly thanked him. I need to do something really special for him. So he asked his servants, do I have any of my advisors here? And they said, oh, yes, Haman is here. And he said, great, send him in. So Haman goes in, and he said, Haman, I really want to do something very special for a very special person. What can I do to say this is the most special guy in the land? And Haman was like, awesome. He's going to honor me. And he says, oh, you should put this guy in the robes that you wear and give him the ring from your hand with your seal on it, and put him on your best horse and decorate your horse, and then set this guy on the horse and have someone lead him throughout town and say, this is the most awesome guy in the land. Look how the king loves this guy the most. And so the king was like, awesome, I love that idea. Haman, go get Mordecai, dress him in my robes, lead him around town on my best horse, and tell everyone how awesome he is. So Haman did, and he was so embarrassed and maybe angrier with Mordecai at this point as he traipsed around town. And so then they have dinner that night, Haman, King Xerxes, and Queen Esther. And the king says, Esther, my love, what can I give you? You are so beautiful. I love you so much. I'll do anything for you. And she says, this man, Haman, wants to kill my people. He wants to murder all of my people, and he wants to kill me too. So now King Xerxes, generous King Xerxes, is in a rage. He is so mad at Haman, and he at once goes out to get his guards. So Haman is taken away, And Esther and Mordecai and the king are talking, well, what do we do now? Because you already signed this decree saying that the armies can come after the Jews. And he said he can't take back the decree, but they wrote a new letter saying, you may defend yourselves. This is when the attack is coming, and you may defend yourselves. And you had the king's support. So, long story short, the Jews won the battle, and and now they celebrate it every year. The Purim is what they call it. So, in the end, Esther was brave and saved her people, right? So I kind of want to talk about this story with you guys, just about like who the characters were and what you learned from it and stuff like that. So if anyone wants to talk, and no one has to talk, just raise your hand. So ideally, I would give you 4 strategies because everybody can probably remember that, but unfortunately I have way too many. So what I'm hoping is that you listen to each one and think about which one works for you, okay? Maybe you can pick 3 or 4 from my list that you could actually do, okay? So, all right, so my first strategy is to choose your friends carefully. So I think you guys all know how people around you tend to behave. So keep in mind that you are worth spending time with positive people, okay? If you know that someone's being a bully, you can still talk to them at school, and but you don't have to hang out with them, okay? And if you have friends that are bullies, it's okay to talk to them about that and be like, hey, that's not my thing. So I think Maggie talked about this a little bit, but remember what you're doing when you're online. Think about how you want to present yourself. So like if you're on Facebook and you want to talk about how you're feeling, do you want to be that person that's always like, oh, I had the worst day. No. Oh, I'm so mad. And keep in mind that that's what people are seeing from you, is what you're posting. So if you're always posting irritations, can you believe what my mom did? Or, you could be that person that's going to share the better parts of your day, I'm so excited about the test grade that I got. I'm really happy I get to go out with my friends this weekend. We're going to have a blast. So just think about how you want to be presented. And like Maggie said, if you post something negative, you can't take it back ever. And if you're irritated with someone, have you ever been like really irritated with someone and you just need to say something? And let's say that you say like, people who, whatever, drive me crazy. Okay, let's just say just some kind of vague thing like that. Well, keep in mind that you've got at least 20 people reading your post with low self-esteem, and they're like, oh my God, she's talking about me. Yeah. So think about how that's hurting people that you're not even talking about. So it might be healthier if someone's irritating you to either keep it to yourself, tell your best friend, talk to your parents, or talk to that person face to face and be like, man, this is what you did and this is how I feel about it. And I think if you're really friends with someone, you can do that and you can have that conversation. I don't know if it's, that guy who puts everybody down. Maybe we'll have a different strategy for him if he's not your close friend, Okay. So be a truthful friend, not a frenemy. Do people still say frenemy? Okay. So if your friend has spaghetti hanging out of their mouth, so you could turn on your camera or you could give her a tissue, right? Right, yeah. Or we can go with tissues, right, and not make her feel bad. I'm just saying. I don't know, I keep looking at Maggie. Okay, so don't fight fire with fire.
You could be that person who says, oh, you have spinach stuck in your teeth. Or you could be that person who says, you might want to go to the bathroom and check your teeth. And not say, just disclose her.
See, that is the best friend. That's the best friend who says you have spinach stuck in your teeth. before anyone else sees it. You might feel like it's being mean, but it's not. That's being a really good friend. Okay, so don't fight fire with fire. If someone's putting you down, putting them down back doesn't fix it. Okay? And another story that I'm going to tell you about, we'll talk a little bit more about that, but forgiveness is just really important. Walking away is always okay. And if your bully is putting you down, calling you names, threatening you, and you just look at them and walk away, they're getting zero satisfaction out of you. No reaction on your face, walk away. That really was not effective for the bullying. Another thing you can try is being kind instead of bullying, right? So let's say the bully was like, well, because you're my friend and I know you don't think that I mean anything. Where'd you get those ugly shoes? Nice. See, you could answer like that because that was quite perfect. Or you could just say, I know they're kind of old, but I sure like the shoes you wear. I can't stand this other kid. He's so annoying. Oh, really? Because I stood by him in math. He seems super nice. He's really smart. You see what I'm going here? Like, you can just put it back on them.
Does it make them feel like what they're saying as like their own power against them, in a sense? Do you get what I'm saying?
Angel wrote bad stuff about you on the bathroom wall. You're kidding. Wow, I always liked her. I'll have to talk to her about that.
Yay! Sorry, Max. Okay. I forgive you. Yay.
Okay, this one's really hard. Sort of. Remember that even your enemies deserve God's love. So sometimes it can be really hard when someone hurts you to be forgiving and to have some love. However, if you try really praying for that person, you might find that it changes the whole dynamic for you. But keep in mind, people who are being bullied have a reason for bullying. We don't know what's going on in their lives. We don't know what it's like for them at home. We don't know how they feel at school. We don't know if they're struggling in school, if they feel like they don't have enough money to have the cool clothes. We don't know if their parents abuse them. We don't know. We don't know why they're bullying. I don't believe that anyone would just wake up one morning or grow up being a bullier. Nobody really wants to be that. All right, so we're going to play a game called Who's the Bully?
She was looking that hard.
Okay, so Maggie's going to hand out some cards. Okay, I need to show you there's important cards so you know what your card means when you get it. If you get the Joker card, you're the bully. Don't let anyone see your card, okay? That's the bully card. Oh, sorry, moving on. The ace is the hero card, okay? Or you could say the Esther card, she's my hero. Okay, the ace is the hero card, okay? Any other card? You're a villager. 5 minutes, okay. So you're a bystander, a villager, a friend, whatever, if you get any other card, okay? So the way this game is going to work is that Maggie has volunteered to be the narrator. So you don't actually get a card, Maggie, so I gave you one too many cards. Maggie's going to be the narrator, so that means she's going to tell a story, okay? And she's going to tell a story about a person who is a bully and people that bully targets to be bullied, okay? So as she tells the story, she'll tell you what to do. At some point, you're going to have to close your eyes, go to sleep, whatever. She'll tell you what to do. During that time that your eyes are closed, there's no peeking because the bully, it's like mafia, because the bully is going to bully someone in their sleep. And the hero is going to have the opportunity to pick someone to protect from the bully. Okay? And then when everybody opens their eyes, we try to guess who's the bully. Okay, does everybody understand? Awesome. Okay. So once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a herd of dinosaurs. Tyrannosaurus rexes to be exact. They all wanted to have a sleepover, so they all went to sleep. And one mean Tyrannosaurus Rex decided he wanted to wake up and bully his best friend. So the Tyrannosaurus Rex tries to bully someone. Alright, and then Tyrannosaurus Rex went back to sleep. And then the hero Tyrannosaurus Rex woke back up and decided to save someone. And then they all went back to sleep. And in the morning, everyone woke up except for Miss Kristi. She was sadly killed off. The hero decided to save.
I wasn't killed, I was bullied.
You're bullied.
No killing.
So Miss Kristi was bullied and she had to go off and leave the herd. It's very sad.
The hero didn't save me?
Yeah. So who do you think the bully is? Who else? Anyone else? It's her? I think it's her. You're all pointing fingers. Okay, who are you pointing to? Unfortunately, there was a large amount of fingers pointed towards Casey, so she was bullied off by her own herd. And she wasn't the bullier, so everyone went back to sleep, except for the people that...
We get to go out together.
Yeah.
I'll join all of you.
So,
Are we sleeping now?
yeah, everyone went back to sleep. The bully woke back up and decided they really didn't get enough anger out, so they wanted to bully another person. Okay, so the bully went back to sleep, and then the hero, wrong version, the hero woke up and decided they wanted to save someone. Okay, so they went back to sleep, and everyone woke up except for, sadly, Megan was bullied, and she got, Katie, I don't know why I was there. Look what you did. Okay. So
Okay.
she got bullied up, and the hero decided to save you. So you were saved. And who do you guys think the murderer is? You can't vote because you got bullied.
I say it's her.
You think it's Angel?
I think it's the one holding the lion.
Oh. Sadly, you all decided to bully another innocent victim, but Angel had to leave the herd. And everyone went back to sleep.
Wait, so who's out?
She's out. You're still in.
So those two are out.
Everyone went back to sleep. Everyone went back to sleep.
Go to sleep.
And the bully woke up and really did not get their anger out. I think they need some help. But they decided to bully another person. Alright, and then they went back to sleep. And the hero wanted to be amazing and save another person. So they woke up. Alright, and everyone woke up. And sadly, the bully bullied off Sarah.
It's definitely Sarah.
She is now with the herd, and they decided to save you. So who do you think the bully is?
I think it was her. No, it's that girl.
Alright, who else thinks it was?
It's her.
Anyone else? Who do you think it is?
I think it's
Who
her.
do you think? You're dead. I don't know who's left. You think it's her? Who else thinks it's her?
No, it's her. Sure. It's Abby.
Alright, so sadly, you were bullied off, and now you had to leave the herd, and another innocent victim. Gosh, guys. And they all went back to sleep. And the bully just really can't get their anger out. Come on, bully. And they woke up,
and decided to bully another person. And the bully went back to sleep. And then the hero woke up and decided they wanted to save someone. Alright, and they all went back to sleep. And everyone woke up except for Alicia has been bullied off. So, who do you think it is?
It's her.
Who else thinks it's... I don't know your name, I'm sorry.
Allison.
Who else thinks it's Allison?
No one. It's her.
Who else thinks it's Tori? You think it's Tori?
Yeah.
Alright. Well, Tori's the bully, so good job, guys.
Everyone.
Yay!